Welcome to this short session on data security considerations when you're moving from Oracle's JD Edwards to Oracle's ERP cloud applications. Now, I should clarify, when we talk about data security, we're referring to security primarily around the chart of accounts, so ledgers, business units, departments, that kind of thing. Between JD Edwards and ERP cloud, the applications differ quite significantly. And so again, in this short session, we're going to cover the main points of what they are and some of the benefits that you'll get, particularly from JD Edwards when moving to ERP cloud. Now, my name is Lewis Hopkins. I'm with Securing. At Securing, we work to bridge the gap between the technicalities of security in your applications. So all those technical settings, all the access routes, the access paths, and so on, and really bringing it all together to help you understand exactly what the issues are for compliance and reducing errors or worst case fraud. Now, our solution is technology by way of software, and it is also a service. We realize that simply providing software to clients is not enough. Presenting you with reports that are thousands of pages long is not good enough for people who are busy and need to solve these issues in a crunch quite often. So Securing and our partner, ERP Risk Advisors, provide a support system for you to give you back time and ensure the safety and successful configuration of your systems. So we'll help provide the analysis of what the issues are, but also the help with what the best cause is or what the best route is to remediation. And between us, we have decades of experience with Oracle applications. And this is really the third session. Before we covered EBS and PeopleSoft. Now here we are at JD Edwards. With that, let's move forward. One of the great things about JD Edwards is the flexibility in the security. So when it comes to data security, you have the option of being inclusive or exclusive. And the recommended best practice was always to be inclusive. So if a user does not have access or is not granted access to a business unit, they don't have access to it. With exclusive, it worked the other way, where the users have access to everything and you need to shut off the access that you don't want. So that's the old school way of doing things. And inclusive, as we'll see, is really the way that the ERP cloud is out of the box. In fact, you don't have really an option to just switch on all of the data security. Now, to go with that, JD was, again, flexibility was key. You have the opportunity to set up your security at the user level, the role level, and something called Star Public. If you're not familiar with what that is like a global security setting. And there's a hierarchy to all of this. And within the roles being the best practice, you should set up security at the role level and assign roles to users. But within the roles, there is a hierarchy, and that hierarchy determines almost the power of the role when it is assigned to a user. So for example, if a role has read-only access to sales orders, and that role is more powerful than another role, or further up the hierarchy than the role that can enter and change those orders, then the read-only role, when assigned to a user, will get precedence, and the user will only be able to read-only tasks. So this hierarchy has caused you as customers a lot of headaches over the years, certainly in determining why users don't have the access they need, or on the flip side, why they have too much access. And to go with that, the flexibility continues into the way that users sign into the application. Now, you could set the application so that when a user signs in, they automatically get all of their roles combined together. Or you could allow them to do that or choose a specific role. And that was handy because what you could say is when you choose role A, you can do sales orders for business unit A. When you choose role B, do sales orders for business unit B. When you sign in with Star All, you kind of get a mashup of all of this security. And depending on the hierarchies and how you have the security set up, again, you're left with a rather large puzzle trying to work out what it is that users can actually do, what data they can work with. Now, another key consideration for well, not just JD Edwards, but for a lot of the other on-premise applications as well, has been performance. If you're hosting the application, if it's within your data center, within your physical locations, you've always had this issue of performance. And what you didn't want to do was put in place too much data security, because that slowed down the performance of the application for the user. The application is literally trying to work out via all these SQL statements what data this user can actually work with. So with that, we'll move on to ERP Cloud. And let's start off with the security structure itself. In ERP Cloud, there is no role chooser. When you sign in as a user, the user experience is that you just sign into the application. There's no roles to choose. You are in the interface and you start working on the tasks that you've been assigned to. So all the roles that you're granted access to are grouped into one session. So for those of you who administer security, it's going to make your life a lot easier. We'll cover more of this in a future session, but this will have benefits, as we'll see shortly, on securing areas of our chart of accounts. So when it comes to data security, we have a very simple interface, okay? And the structure is that we take a user, we take a role that they've been granted access to, we give that role a context, and then we give it a value. Okay, so in this case, we can see the username Sydney, we've got the role employee, we're going to allow them access to business unit vision construction, and that's it. Okay, now what that means is when Sydney signs into the application and is doing tasks that are attached to the employee role, the application will determine that Sydney can only work with vision construction. Okay, and so from a management perspective, for those of you who have to manage the security, it's very simple. There are 4 fields here that you fill out, you save, and now that user is constrained to these contexts and values. Okay. Now, there aren't any overlaps or hierarchy to worry about. So if we gave Sydney another role with business unit vision construction, they would be able to do the task within that role for vision construction. Now, we could also give them another role that has the same security. So let's say we have 2 roles that can do sales orders. And in one, we have business unit vision construction. And in another, we have some other business unit. The application determines that you can do those tasks for both business units. Very simple. So with that, you get very context-based security. In one session, the user could enter purchase orders for one business unit and enter sales orders for another business unit. So the application gives you some clear delineation and separation of data out of the box. And as you saw there, you have a very centralized and now organized data security management. It is so much easier to understand what data you are granting users access to. And as I said before, if you do not have the data security set up, you cannot administer that data. Okay, so it's not a wide open system as some of you have experienced with JD Edwards. And coming back to performance, of course, the application is hosted by Oracle. Now, even if you've had JD Edwards hosted, performance as we've seen with Oracle ERP applications has been significantly improved, and it's really allowing customers to put in place the kind of data security policies that they've been wanting to do for years, but have been held back by this offset of performance. Now, I hope you found this useful. Again, we will cover more of the security details in cloud in future sessions. You can find us on YouTube at Securing, follow on LinkedIn, Securing, or visit securing.com/implement. Thank you very much.